New figures show credit card debt has fallen nearly 10% nationally since the beginning of the year. The report from creditkarma.com shows all 50 states decreased their debt. But for the people still dealing with debt, the last thing they need is collectors on their backs. Unfortunately, though, some collection officers will do just about anything to get their money, including harassing consumers. But not all those harsh tactics are legal. Bill Bartman is a debt collector who's trying to change the industry. He started a nationwide campaign to reform debt collection practices. Bill joins us via Skype from Tulsa, Oklahoma. So first of all, do debt collectors have to scare their clients into paying?
Morris, what we have right now is a problem that we've not seen before in the history of man, and that is that this great recession, this thing that's been going on for the last 3 to 4 years, has put a whole new category of people into debt that heretofore have never been in debt. And so quite frankly, they're pretty inexperienced in dealing with a debt collector. And the debt collection industry on the other side has become so much more sophisticated in terms of modern technology that it's like an immovable object running into an irresistible force. It's a collision that we just have not seen before, and quite frankly, it's devastating an awful lot of Americans.
So, Bill, what's legal for debt collectors to do that?
Well, what they can do, and what they should limit themselves to do, is not calling the customer, the debtor, more than once a day. They should not talk to someone who's not obligated on the debt, and they should call during normal, regular business hours, and they certainly shouldn't yell, scream, or use profanity. Now, sadly, most of the debt collection industry abuses every one of those precepts.
Now, you've got a list of recommendations. I'd like to hear those because there are ways that we can curb abuse. What are they?
Absolutely, and we have been proposing legislation here in the state of Oklahoma and also in the federal level with the U.S. Congress. And what we want to do first, and the most significant, would be to stop robo-signing. We came to know that term in the mortgage foreclosure industry, where people were signing affidavits saying that an individual owed a debt when in fact they really didn't. Well, that which has been happening in the mortgage foreclosure industry is also occurring right now in the debt collection industry. So the first thing would be stop robo-signing. The second thing would be to stop robo-suing. There are debt buyers, which some people confuse with debt collectors, who buy massive amounts of charged off credit card debt, and then rather than call up the customer and work with them and try to find a resolution, they just haul off and sue them all. It's that model of sue them all and let God sort them out. We think that's absolutely wrong, and those are the two major things that we want to change in this upcoming session of the legislature.
Now, what kind of rights do consumers have if they're harassed? And then give me some examples, because they've been pretty extreme in the past. You've used some terrific examples.
Well, absolutely. The collection industry keeps coming up with new things, new different ways to abuse people. And, you know, the normal standard of yelling and screaming and ranting and raving and using profanity and vulgarity and ethnic slurs, that's kind of the old school. They still do that, and that's wrong and bad. But they've now even gone to further abuses where they have threatened to dig up the deceased, the bones of a deceased party, because a lady failed to pay her funeral home bill. They literally have threatened to do physical abuse. They have threatened sexual abuse. They have acted like police officers or courtroom attendants to intimidate people into paying bills that they did not owe. Now, those things are so egregious, they're beyond the pale.
Do you support Richard Cordray, the pick for the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, because his nomination is dead in the water, it seems?
His nomination is dead in the water at the moment, and we're hopeful that it might get resuscitated. And yes, I do support Richard Cordray as the head of the new Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. I've met former Attorney General Rich Cordray. I admire what he's done historically. I think he is certainly intellectually capable of handling the role, and he's already serving in that function temporarily, where he is currently a director of enforcement for the CFPB. So he has truly been on the ground from day one. He understands the nature of the job, and Elizabeth Warren says he's qualified. Barack Obama says he's qualified. I would hope that the Senate would think he's qualified.
It's called politics. Before we leave, what's your website?
www.stopthosecriminals.com.
All right, Bill Bartman with us from Tulsa, Oklahoma via Skype. Happy holidays and thanks for your views tonight.